Hey everyone, Kat here. So 5 years ago I made a series on how to create custom poses for The Sims 4. A lot has changed since then. Programs have been updated, tools are a bit different, and I've been getting questions asking if I'd make a new updated series using the newer version of Blender. And well, now we're gonna do just that. Let's dive into the updated tutorial and get posing. Here are all the tools you need. You're gonna need Sims 4 Studio Open Beta version, Star version if you're using Windows, or Aurora if you're using Mac. You're gonna need Blender 4.3. Well, any version of Blender that starts with 4 works. You're gonna need Andrew's Pose Player, Teleport any sim mod, and finally Photo Editor. I personally like using Photoshop. Now open up the Sims 4 Studio. Here in the right corner, down here, you can see creator name, and you're gonna put in your creator's name. But don't use any special characters because they will mess with your poses. So only like normal letters and numbers. Now go up here on the left corner. Make sure the clip back is selected and click on animation. Find your mods folder and save your pose back there. Name it first, of course. I'm gonna do test pose and save it into your mods folder. Now put the same name here after the name. And now click on clips. Here you're gonna name your first pose. I usually just do pose 1 or P1 or something like that. Now go where it says rig and click on the adult female. Here you're gonna see all kinds of rigs you can make poses with: female, male, child, infant, puppy, mermaids, and all kinds of different rigs. But for this tutorial I'm gonna choose adult female and click on export. I recommend creating a new folder for your files, your Blender files. And because I chose a female rig, I'm gonna name this Blender file a female rig, so it's easy to understand what it is. Now open the file in Blender. And this is what Blender looks like. If you are new to Blender, it might seem intimidating at first. Trust me, I know. When I started creating poses a long time ago, there were no tutorials available and it all felt like rocket science to me. I even cried a few times. However, the more time you spend in Blender, the more comfortable you will become, trust me. Just take it slow and steady. Feel free to rewatch parts of this tutorial as many a time as you need. But if it is your first time in Blender and to posing, please do not skip ahead, just follow along. Okay, first things first, we need to change some settings to make Blender a bit better for us. We're gonna use a lot of numpad for our poses, and if your keyboard doesn't have numpad, don't worry, there is a solution for that. And for this, let's go to Edit and then choose Preferences. Then from here go to Input, and here under Keyboard you can see Emulate Numpad and check it. And now your normal numbers row acts like a numpad and it's gonna make life a lot easier. For the next thing, I want you to go to System, and under Memory and Limits there is Undo Steps, and I'd like you to turn this all the way up because then you can Control Z as much as you need. And yeah, it will make your life a lot easier. And for the last thing, I would like you to go to navigation and uncheck the perspective, auto perspective, because otherwise every time you rotate in your Blender, the perspective like just moves everywhere, and we don't want that. So yes, these are all the settings I want you to change, and if you've done all that, then close. Now I'm going to show you some numpad view shortcuts. Pressing 1 on your numpad will show you the front view, and pressing Ctrl and 1 shows the back view. Pressing 3 shows the left side view. Pressing Ctrl and 3 shows the right side view. 7 is for top view, and Ctrl 7 is for the bottom view. When you press 4, it will rotate to the left, and 6 rotates to the right. 8 rotates up, and 2 rotates down. Pressing Ctrl 4, you can pan the view to the left, and Ctrl 6, you can pan the view to the right. Pressing Ctrl 8, you can pan the view up, and with Ctrl 2, you can pan the view down. Pressing 5 on the numpad toggles the perspective and orthographic view. Pressing plus on your numpad zooms in, and pressing on the minus button will zoom out. Now let's move on to the mouse. When you wheel in the middle button, it zooms in the view. And when you wheel out the middle button, it also zooms out. To rotate the view, you press the middle button down, hold, and drag it around. And to pan the view, hold down Shift while pressing the middle button, holding it and dragging it. To zoom the view in or out, hold down Ctrl while pressing the middle button, holding it and dragging it around. And you can do all the same things with these tools here as well. The first one is called Gizmo, and pressing the little buttons on this, you can change the viewpoint. Pressing the Y gives you the front and back view. Pressing the X gives you the side views, and pressing the Z, it gives you up, and minus I brings you back down. And when you click anywhere and holding the mouse button, you can rotate around and go back by clicking on the Y, minus Y. And when you click on the plus here, click and hold and move up and down, you can zoom in and out. By clicking on the hand here, click and hold, you can pan the view, like so. And the last one here, you can switch the view from perspective to orthographic, like so. I personally like using the mix of two. I sometimes use the numpads to rotate around, and sometimes I use this gizmo, and yeah, you just have to play around with this and find your rhythm. Now let's get into posing our sim. Do you see all these little dots all over the Sim's body? These are the points where you can move each body part. You can select the point by just clicking on it with the left mouse button, and you know it's selected when it turns this light blue color. Let's move in a bit closer so you can see better. You see when I click on the little dot, it turns light blue. This is how you know it's selected. And you can see the name of each point that is selected in upper left corner here. Some points have more than one point in them, so you need to click multiple times. And again, you can see the point that is selected by looking at that corner where you can see the name of the point that is selected. For example, eyes have many points in one, so you really have to look at what you have selected. You can select multiple points by holding down the Shift button and clicking on each point. You can also select points by clicking near the point you want to select. Then hold down the left mouse button and drag your mouse. A small box will appear as you drag. When all the points you want to select are inside the box, let go of the mouse button and you will have selected all the points. There are two ways to move a body part in the rig. For the first method, select a point on the rig, like the shoulder for example. Press R on your keyboard and drag your mouse to move it where you want. Click the mouse again to release it. This way you can move the body part up and down and left and right. You can also adjust the angle by rotating the view. And again, select the body part, press R, move it to your liking, and click the mouse button to set it where you want. To rotate a body part, press R twice, then move your mouse to your liking and click the mouse again to set it. So pressing R once, you can move it up and down, and pressing R twice, you can rotate it more freely. For the next method, click the small arrow in the upper left corner. You will see many useful tools here. Select the Transform tool. This will show you a gizmo, which is a very handy, easy to use tool. First, let's select a point. I'll choose the point on the cheek. Once it's selected, click any of the little arrows on the gizmo. Hold and move your mouse to move the body part. Now select both points on her cheek by holding down the Shift button. Now click on the up arrow, hold the mouse button and move it to make the sim squint. To move the point more freely, click the little circle in the middle of the gizmo, hold it and drag the mouse where you want. To rotate any body part, first click on the point you want to rotate. I'm choosing the shoulder again. Next, click on the little circle lines, hold it and move your mouse to adjust the rotation. You can rotate the view to see more lines. Click on a line, hold it and move your mouse. And for more freedom in rotation, click anywhere on the larger circle outside the small circle. Select, click and rotate. But okay, let's say you've made a mistake and moved a body part in a way you're not happy with. The simplest solution is to undo your last action by pressing Ctrl Z, which will undo the most recent changes you made. Another option is to reset the point's location and rotation. To reset the location, select the point you want to fix and press Alt G. To reset the rotation, select the point you want to fix and press Alt R. This will restore the part to its original state. You can reset multiple points as well. Let's say I want to reset the whole face to its original form. I'm gonna select all the points on the face and press Alt G to reset the location and press Alt R to reset the rotation. Now let me show you how to open your Sim's mouth. First, switch to the side view so you can see clearly the necessary points. Many people make the mistake of trying to open the mouth by moving the upper and lower mouth area points. Unfortunately, this method doesn't work in game. The mouth will remain closed when posing your sim. Instead, you'll want to locate the jaw point and rotate it to open the mouth. As we discussed earlier, one way to do this is by selecting the jaw point, pressing R and then moving the mouse. Once the mouth is open to your liking, click once on the mouse button. The second way to move the jaw is by using the gizmo. First select the jaw point, then click, hold and move the red circle with your mouse. Drag the circle to the position you want and release the mouse button when the mouth is opened the way you like. Now I'm going to show you how to curve those fingers, because doing it point by point can get a bit annoying. And when you select all the points in the finger and try to rotate it, it will move the whole finger instead of curving it. To fix that, click on this little chain icon here and change the pivot point to individual origin. And now when you select all the finger points and try to rotate, it will actually curve the fingers. And finally, let me show you how to move the entire sim. To move the whole rig, locate the point labeled root in the middle of the sim's pelvis. Press G and move your mouse to move it around, or you can also use the gizmo to move the sim. One important thing to remember is not to position the sim's body or any body parts below the red line on the ground. Doing so will cause your sim to appear underground when posed in the game, unless of course that's your intention. Also, keep in mind that posing your sim should only be done in pose mode. Some people mistakenly switch to object mode and try to pose the sim there, so please try to avoid this, and whatever you do, don't attempt to move your sim in object mode by dragging the little orange dot on the ground. Doing so will disrupt the location of your pose in-game, and we don't want that. So yes, remember, only move the whole sim using the root point in pose mode and not the orange dot in the object mode. Now I know it's annoying when I repeat this, but it's actually one of the most common mistakes people do when posing. Okay, there's an old Latin saying, repetition is the mother of learning, which essentially means that practicing something repeatedly helps you master it. So let's put some of what we've learned today into action and make our sim smile. First, I'm gonna click on one of her mouth corners, and then I'm gonna hold down Shift and click on the other. And now I want to bring her mouth corners up a bit, so I'm gonna bring out the transform tool that brings out the gizmo. I like using this tool a lot. And I'm gonna click on the little blue arrow here to bring the mouth corners up. And I know it looks funny right now, but we're gonna change it. I'm gonna click on one of the mouth corners and bring them out a bit, and then I'm gonna click on the other mouth corners to bring that out as well. I'm gonna move these a bit further out as well. Now I want her to show some teeth, so I'm gonna go to the side view by pressing numpad 3. Now I'm gonna find my jaw point. I'm gonna use this red circle to open her mouth, or you can also click on R to open her mouth, whichever you prefer. I'm gonna open it just a little bit. Now I'm gonna press numpad 1 to go back to the front view, and I'm gonna move in closer a bit, click on the lip here and move it up a little bit. And I'm gonna move the lower lip up as well. No, not that one. Ctrl Z is undo button. Oh, it's the perfect time to remind you that you can see the name here up. Right now I have the jaw point selected, but I want the lower lip, so low lip. And I'm gonna click on the blue arrow to bring it up a little. Now I want her mouth corners to go into her head a bit, essentially. So again, I'm gonna click one of the mouth corners, then Shift and click on the other one. I'm gonna press 3 on my numpad to go to the side view, and then I'm gonna click on the green arrow to bring the mouth corners in a bit. and maybe more up. I'm gonna click numpad 1 to go to the front view again. Now let's make her squint a little. I'm gonna press the little squint points here, then shift click on the other one and blue arrow to bring these up. You can also use G to bring these up, whichever you prefer. G is for grab, so you can move the location of something, and R is for rotating. So yes, I think this looks okay. I also want her eyes to look somewhere else, so I'm gonna find the eye points by searching for them here, and now left eye, hold down control and click on the other one. And now I'm gonna press R twice to rotate it. And as you can see, this didn't work because my pivot point is not set to individual origin. So I'm gonna do that. And Ctrl Z to go back. And now I'm gonna press R twice again. And now it works. I also want to move her lids up a bit as well. So it's the same way. Instead of I, type in lid. And now here you can see the lower lid and upper lid. For this, I want to move her lids up a bit. So I'm gonna select the left lid, then hold down Control and select the right upper lid as well. And now I'm gonna press R twice again to move them up a bit, like so. And now I'm gonna move her lower lids as well. So select one of the lower lids here and then select the right one as well. And again, press R twice to move them up a bit. Something like this. And now I also want her eyebrows up a bit as well. So I'm gonna click on one of the eyebrow points, then the other one as well, and click on the blue arrow to move them up a bit, like so. Now I also want to move her head a bit. So for this, let's go to the side view again, press numpad 3 and find the head point right here. Now I'm gonna go to the front view again and press R twice to rotate it. When you press R once, you can move it on the sides, and pressing R twice, you can move it more freely. Let's do something like this. And now I also want her to have a bit even more wider smile, so I'm gonna open her mouth even more. Let's rotate to the side by pressing the middle button and find the jaw and press R, or you can move also the red circle to open her mouth even more. Maybe something like this. She's very happy this tutorial is about to end. Ha ha ha. But yeah, this is how we make our sim smile. And now I'm gonna pose the rest of the sim. I'm gonna speed it up a little, and then after I'm gonna show you how to import your pose into the Sims. Okay, this pose didn't turn out the best, but it will work for this tutorial. And now it's time to save our pose. For this, click any of these points anywhere on the sim and then press A on your keyboard, select all of the points, and then press I on your keyboard to lock them. And now let's go to File, Save As, and now name your file. I usually do P1 as in pose 1 or something like that. And then the next pose will be P2, and then click on Save As. And now open up your Sims 4 Studio again, and here you see the import, and then find the file you just saved, P1, open, and now it's imported into the game, and click on Save and press OK. Time to open up The Sims 4 to see if our pose works in the game. Click on your sim, then find Pose by Pack. Find your pose, click on it. Click on pose 1 and then close this and unpause the game. And here we are. Here's our little pose. And let's say you want to pose your sim somewhere else. For this, let's go to build mode and find the teleporter mode. And place it anywhere you want your sim to pose. Let's say I want her to do pose here. Now go back to live mode. Click on the teleporter. Then click on teleport a sim. And then find your sim and do the same thing again. Find pose by pack. Find your pose. And unpause, and here we are. I recommend taking a little screenshot of your sim so we can use it as a thumbnail for the pose pack. After you finish taking your screenshot, close the game again. To make the thumbnail, you need some kind of photo editor. I use Photoshop because I am used to that. The thumbnail size is 64 pixels by 64. It's gonna be a really tiny little picture. And then I just import the screenshot I just made in The Sims 4. I'm gonna place it somewhere here so it looks somewhat good. Maybe something like this. And then you are going to save this as PNG. And then name your picture. I'm gonna do thumbnail 1 and save. And now go back into your Sims 4 Studio and import your icon. Click on import here. Find your thumbnail, open, and save again. Oh, and also you're gonna need a picture or screenshot for your whole pose pack as well, because these little icons are for the specific pose, but you also need a picture for the whole package. For this, go back to the pose pack and you're gonna see the icon here. I'm gonna use the same picture I just took. So import and select a thumbnail for this. It also has to be 64 by 64. And then save again. And now when you try to pose your sim, you're gonna see the little picture here. And this is our little pose. And now I want to congratulate you on making it to the end of this tutorial. I know it was a lengthy one, but I am so glad you stayed with me. Remember to keep practicing your pose making skills, be patient with yourself, and don't give up. Practice truly does make perfect. If there are other tutorials you'd like me to make, whether it's creating poses with multiple sims or using accessories, let me know in the comments and I'll try to make it happen. Oh, and by the way, I made a little cheat sheet of the main keyboard shortcuts and you can find it in the description box below. You can print it out or write it down to make it easier to find the right keys. If this video was helpful, please give it a like, it really helps my channel. And if you're feeling extra generous, you can support me on my Ko-fi page with a donation. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye!